Brigadier General Daniel Heires. I go by Rock. I am the Deputy Commander of Alaska Command and Mobilization Assistant to the Commander of 11th Air Force and ANR, Alaska NORAD region. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been the Exercise Director of Northern Edge. Okay, so Northern Edge is not only Alaska's largest exercise, it's one of the largest U.S. exercises. It goes back about half a century. Started with many different titles, but the theme has always been the same. We utilize about 110,000 square miles of sea and land and airspace to be able to conduct joint operations at really the highest end possible. And so it's this year we have about 10,000 personnel, over 200 combat aircraft, an aircraft carrier battle group, and elements of the 7th Marines that have formed a Special Marine Air Ground Task Force. So we can do up here in Alaska what we can do in few other places because of the distance, because of the remoteness, and because of the impact on other things. We're able to fight at a level much more difficult, much more challenging than it's possible in most other places. So the goals for the DoD here are really to take a look at our advanced equipment, experimentation, what we have coming in the future, and really put it through some significant rigor to ensure that what we're proposing and what we're spending our money on is effective and allows us to really hone our skills in utilizing that equipment. Because of the unique nature of the Gulf of Alaska tying into the J Park, we're able to do air scenarios, ground scenarios, and sea warfare scenarios. And so it's really an air fight, land fight, and air-to-sea fight on a fairly substantial scale, and again, on a very high-end scale. Cannot understate the importance of having the carrier here, and I'll give it to you on a couple of different levels. Number one, modern warfare requires a joint force. And really, when we're talking about a pure competitor fight, we're talking about a long-range fight. And the carrier strike group is really an essential part of our power projection. But no force fights alone. You got to integrate it with the air component. You got to integrate it with the applicable land components. And so having it here has been able to allow us to really focus in on how we integrate the carrier on a full spectrum war. It's been really gratifying as well because the carrier is in its workups. So as they get ready for their deployment, they got a collegiate level exercise to prepare their crews, and they did magnificent. We've had some challenging seas for them, and they have launched and recovered in all kinds of conditions, didn't miss a vol. Really, I have spent some time out in the carrier with the sailors and with Admiral Dwyer, and I am impressed beyond measure about their professionalism and their skills, and really their ability to integrate into the joint force. So again, in Northern Edge, because of the unique location of where we are, we can go to the really high end of the fight. In a general sense, our adversaries are producing anti-access, anti-area denial technologies to try to keep us away. Of course, we're going to innovate around those, and it's our ability to, as a joint force, work through any problem set given to us and ensure that we get the mission accomplished. All of them. We have all the 4th gen and all the 5th gen fighters that are available. The only one missing were the Navy's F-35 Charlie, but we'll have those in the next one. And getting to have all of those aircraft completely integrated, completely part of the joint force, not just working the air battle and the air-to-ground battle, but also the air-sea battle. And it's been nice to have them all. So because we have the Marine Special MAGTF here, they brought their F-35 Bravos along with several different forms of ground power, infantry battalion, artillery, long-range artillery, air control. It's been nice to see them up here exercising in a tremendous range for them. The Navy, with their carrier, has come out, and a lot of F-18 variants flying off the carrier, in addition to their command and control aircraft and their refueling aircraft, have gotten a really nice ability to integrate with, of course, our fourth generation fighters that are here, our F-22s, our F-35s, our F-16s, our F-15s. Literally, they're all here, and they're all fighting at the top of the spectrum. So you think about ACE, you think about what a peer conflict would look like. And unfortunately, because it's a long-range fight, a big base is a big target. So ACE is all about moving out, dispersing, and the ability to rapidly move across geography to make it very difficult for someone to track where you are and to be able to respond to the force that you're generating against them. And it's not just aircraft and people, it's also the command and control. And in this exercise, we were able to move that command and control element out into the field. We were able to move it onto the ship, and we even practiced moving it airborne. So it's all about survivability and making it very difficult for the adversary to figure out where you are and how to stop you. Let's pull that question apart. Let's talk about the Joint Force. There was a day when any service could prosecute a war by themselves. Those days are gone. The only way we fight now is as a joint force. And so push that forward a little bit. In a pure competitive fight, it's essential. We have to integrate all of our naval, marine, ground, and air power together as a single cohesive unit to be able to achieve our objectives and really the dominance of whatever objective we're going for. So consider again modern warfare. They're going to try to deny our access and our ability to get into certain regions. And they're going to do that across the spectrum. And it's not just air, sea, or land. It's also the electromagnetic spectrum, communication spectrum. And as those challenges develop, we need to have the technology and the skill sets to work through and make their challenges not very challenging. And that's what we've been able to do. Look at technology, look at our tactics, our procedures, and work through all of the potential obstacles they could put on our path and make them irrelevant. And that's pretty much what we've achieved during this exercise. We've proven a lot of capacity, a lot of future technology coming online, and our adversaries should know they're not presenting that much of a challenge to us. The goals of Northern Edge 19, and the analogy I like to use with our crews, this is a varsity level exercise. We don't simulate things like we normally do in other places. We actually throw the toughest possible obstacles in the pathway of our fighting forces. And so in that light, it's tough. Not everybody gets away with a trophy. You know, there will be losses. There will be some missions that don't succeed. But that's part of the learning curve. And early on in the process, there were some struggles. By the end of the exercise, the professionalism and the skill set of our joint force coming together has been able to work through almost all of those challenges. And it's very nice to sit here at the end of Northern Edge realizing that the learning curve that we had has been excellent and has given everybody their confidence that when presented with a tough scenario, regardless of that scenario, we'll fight through it and we'll dominate it. It's humbling, I'll be honest with you. You know, being an airman my whole career, you know, we assume a level of excellence amongst our own people, but really standing amongst those Marines in their command center and on patrol and seeing them out there doing the forward air refueling and arming and refueling of aircraft, just their skill set, their professionalism, their enthusiasm. Same with out on the ship, on the carrier, seeing those sailors and their pride in what they do. And not just their pride, but also their skill in doing it. I mean, it is amazing. And so, again, I would say humbling and appreciative that we get to lead such fine Americans, and really should restore everybody's faith in the tip of the spear of the United States, because what we saw this week was America's finest. Well, it's funny you mention that, because I remember as a young lieutenant, and I'm not going to say how many years ago, but it was a lot of years ago, the different names of the air exercise, you know, the Jack Frost, Grim Frost, you know, Arctic Warrior, and Northern Edge has kind of been this storied event where you kind of knew that was the varsity challenge. And actually being asked by my commander to come and lead this exercise, I was honored, and then I was humbled meeting all the participants in the exercise. So from that perspective, being able to cap off half a century of amazing exercises with, I would say, almost a complete win has been really gratifying. I'll pull that a little further. My confidence in our future ability to dominate the air fight, the sea fight, and the land fight have never been higher. Just what's coming, our ability to integrate it, our ability to work together as a team. I do not worry about our future and our ability to project power anywhere in the world at our time and choosing.